Hi. Today I'll be talking about user friendliness with OVN. Ethan mentioned the hard to debug part, so I'll be talking this from a debugging point of view. So, all right. Oven is a powerful virtual networking tool. We know what it does, so I'll just skip this. So coming to my agenda, OVN is great. However, there is room for improvement in terms of user friendliness. With the current OVN implementation, you have all these specialized commands that you use to create the services provided, i.e. the northbound, you have the switches and router commands, and southbound, you have the chassis and port binding logical flow table commands. And so you have specialized commands that you can use to provide these services in your configuration. However, which you use to write into the databases, which are used in the oven architecture. However, while debugging, it becomes incredibly tough to actually use these commands to comprehensively know what and where it's going wrong. So you end up using other commands to look through the database because the formatting options are specific to the database. So personal opinion is that to extend the formatting options to the service commands themselves so that users can exclusively deal with these service commands rather than use another route to like debug. And it's a missed opportunity to provide a richness to these commands. And logical flows. So logical flows are incredibly powerful in the oven implementation. You don't have to deal with the open flow tables or the kernel tables. So we could see more to understand the pipeline and talk more about the network elements. This is especially useful when the data plane starts to become more complex. And however, I should know that oven trace does this incredibly well, and it's a really elegant solution. However, it could be more descriptive, is what I mean, but it does do a good job. And moving along these lines, we see that the typical network configuration has many components, right? Northbound, southbound, you have maybe you have NAT and ACLs. Northbound and southbound, you have all the switch instances across the multiple hypervisors, and so these they have correlation which tie together to provide the network configuration that the user requires. So OVN does very little to provide to help with the correlation with the oven implementation. So debugging becomes very tedious when you're being thorough. You may miss some port bindings or some ACLs are misconfigured. And then you'd end up having a security hole in your network, which may even go unnoticed. So debugging becomes very tedious. And one solution that came to my mind is the diagrams that we saw in the presentations last year. Hypervisor diagrams, at the hypervisor level, you have all the port bindings and at the VM level, you have the port bindings and the tunnels to the gateways, etc. Physical gateways, and northbound you'd have the logical diagram showing the switches and routers connected. So those provide the required correlation that'd be very useful to the user. So why? It seems like I'm nitpicking here, but OVN is really powerful, so it'd be good to, go all the way and 100% right to the user. Because of virtual networking capabilities, OVN with integration with Kubernetes and P4, we can see that OVN can grow a lot faster than any other product. So handling the user friendliness, making it easier to debug, alongside the functionality growth would be productive, rather than letting it lag behind and to a point where it requires, immediate attention. Thanks.